The clinking of silverware and the low murmur of happy birthday wishes usually fill me with a quiet warmth. But on my 60th birthday, the atmosphere in the exclusive, dimly lit private dining room felt suffocating. I, Arthur 60, a recently retired, highly successful venture capitalist, was surrounded by my immediate family, my son, Robert 35, a lawyer, my daughter-in-law, Diana 34, a stay-at-home mom, and my youngest daughter, Sarah 28. Everyone was dressed beautifully, the champagne was chilling, and the conversation was forced too many pointed questions about my retirement plans, particularly what I intended to do with the old family home, and the substantial trust I had just liquidated. I excused myself, claiming a need for air, but I actually walked toward the back of the restaurant, not for the restroom, but simply to escape the predatory glances and the suffocating sense of expectation that had followed me since I announced my retirement and the imminent rewriting of my will. As I rounded the corner near the kitchen entrance, the harsh, fluorescent light of the service hallway spilled out, and what I saw stopped my heart in a way the cardiologist never could have predicted. My son, Robert, and my daughter-in-law, Diana, were huddled together with my youngest daughter, Sarah, whispering furiously over a large, laminated floor plan of my house, the kind of detailed architectural drawing you only get from an appraiser. Robert was tracing a line through my study and over my master bedroom, saying, with chilling avarice, "We'll knock out this wall for the master suite. Dad will never need this space now that he's downsizing." The sight of my children conspiring over a blueprint to carve up my house while celebrating me instantly confirmed my darkest suspicions. This whole dinner was a calculated exercise in extraction. They weren't celebrating my life, they were measuring my coffin. In that moment of utter clarity, I didn't yell, I didn't confront them, and I didn't make a scene. Instead, I grabbed my chest, let my body slump dramatically against the wall, and let out a guttural, dramatic wheeze, faking the most convincing heart attack of my life. Was I wrong to use a medical emergency as a tactical weapon, subjecting my family to the terror of my imminent death, just to buy myself the 6 critical weeks I needed to rewrite my will, restructure my assets, and orchestrate a devastating financial counter-move that would leave them all with absolutely nothing? Or was this the only way to expose and punish their monstrous greed? Tell me, if you saw your children plotting to seize your assets while you were still alive, would you immediately confront them, or would you use the situation to set the perfect trap? My name is Arthur 60. My life's work was high-stakes venture capital, which taught me 2 crucial lessons: always have a contingency plan, and never trust a soft number. My net worth was substantial, consisting of the $5 million family home, several million in investment portfolios, and a liquidated trust fund currently sitting as highly fluid cash. My wife passed away 3 years ago. I had always intended for my wealth to be split equally between my 3 children. Robert, my eldest, is a successful but highly entitled corporate lawyer. He is driven by status and convinced he is intellectually superior. Diana, his wife, is equally status-obsessed, pushing Robert constantly to level up. Sarah, my youngest, is sweet but easily influenced and financially reckless, always chasing the next expensive impulse buy. Since my retirement announcement, they had circled me like vultures, their concern for my health directly proportional to their questions about my estate planning. The dinner was held at the Corinthian a place known for its discretion and high prices. It was Robert's idea, and every detail was designed to make me feel honored, and therefore obliged. I had been suspicious for months. A few odd questions from Robert about the integrity of the house's foundation, Sarah's sudden interest in attending an expensive interior design course, and Diana's subtle criticisms of my dated furniture all added up, but the final proof, seeing them with the actual floor plans, was irrefutable. I recognized the plans instantly. They were high-resolution appraisal documents I had commissioned only 6 months prior when I considered refinancing. They must have sneaked into my office and copied the digital files. The moment Robert drew his finger across the blueprint, marking the demolition of the wall connecting my study and my bedroom, the paternal bond shattered. I realized they weren't just discussing my house. They were discussing my immediate removal. The heart attack was a masterstroke of dramatic timing. I timed my collapse precisely. I didn't go for a noisy, theatrical fall. I made it look like a quiet, internal failure. The wheezing, the clutch at the chest, the slow slide down the wall, all were calculated to convey an immediate, life-threatening crisis without actual physical harm. The pandemonium was immediate. Robert screamed for help. Diana was hysterical. Sarah was paralyzed by shock. Within minutes, the restaurant manager, paramedics, and eventually an ambulance arrived. I maintained the act perfectly. During the frantic ride to the hospital, I feigned intermittent consciousness, just enough to be terrifyingly vague about my condition. At the hospital, I allowed the doctors to run every test, which, naturally, came back clean. However, I insisted that the stress of the event had profoundly shaken me, and I needed absolute rest and recuperation. At home, demanding no visitors, no stressful calls, and, critically, no business discussions, The doctor, a kind man who I quietly slipped my card to, understood the situation was sensitive and gave a stern, formal warning to my children. I needed 6 weeks of absolute undisturbed peace, or the next attack might be fatal. The children were terrified. They had been caught in the act of greed just before their source of wealth seemingly imploded. Their conspiracy about the house plans evaporated into immediate, frantic concern about my survival. This gave me the 2 things I desperately needed: time and total access, They would be too afraid to enter my office, touch my files, or press the subject of the will for fear of literally killing me. So that's the situation I was in. I had just successfully faked a massive heart attack after catching my children plotting to carve up my house. The doctor had given them a strict 6 weeks of no stress of order, which meant I had a clear window of undisputed power. I was back home, resting in the master bedroom they had just planned to demolish, while they were walking on eggshells. I had the liquid assets, the old will, and the unassailable cover of frailty. Before I tell you about the total, surgical annihilation of their expectations and the structure of the will that finally taught them a lesson about entitlement, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have forgiven them and tried to teach them a gentle lesson? Or would you have used the crisis to execute a legal maneuver that punished their greed with absolute finality? I chose absolute finality. Forgiveness implies remorse, and I saw none in their initial plot, only cold, calculating entitlement. This required a legal lesson that would resonate for the rest of their lives. My old will, which was still in the safe, split the house and investments equally. The will, which I spent the next 4 weeks meticulously drafting with a new, discreet lawyer, was radically different and based entirely on my observation of their behavior during my recovery. First, I sold the family home, the object of their greed, to an anonymous shell company I controlled. I did this quietly, using the cover of my medical necessity, to finalize the remote transaction. The cash went into my liquid assets. This destroyed their ability to claim the house. Second, I created a new *** irrevocable spendthrift trust ***. The new will dictated that the bulk of my liquid wealth, millions, would not go to Robert, Diana, or Sarah. Instead, it was placed into this trust, with the final beneficiaries being ***, 3 preselected, highly reputable local charities ***, focusing on elderly care and financial literacy. I named my discreet new lawyer as the sole trustee, with no ability for the children to contest. Third, the small amount of remaining liquid cash was to be divided. I dictated a specific, highly conditional legacy for each child, *****, to Robert and Diana, ****, they received a combined bequest of $50, zeros, euro 0, ***. The funds were earmarked specifically to cover the cost of the architectural appraisal and the legal fees associated with their divorce, which I knew their greed and mutual distrust would eventually trigger. The amount was just enough to be insulting. **** to Sarah. ***, she received a more substantial but conditional sum, enough to pay off her current consumer debt, but with the specific condition that she had to complete a 6-month mandatory financial management course. This was a chance, not an entitlement. I waited until the 6 weeks had passed, ensuring the fear had fully set in. On the last day, I called a meeting at my lawyer's office, claiming I needed to finalize my end-of-life planning, due to the fragility of my health. They showed up, pale and subdued, believing they were about to inherit millions. My lawyer, reading the new will, calmly outlined the disposition of the estate. The house sold, the bulk of the money gone to charity, and their small, insulting bequests. The reaction was catastrophic. Robert, the lawyer, was the first to speak, stammering about contesting the will. My lawyer simply smiled, handing him a document. "This is a certification from the head of the hospital where your father was treated, confirming his absolute mental clarity before and after his minor medical event. And this," he continued, holding up a copy of the new trust deed, "is an irrevocable trust. The money is legally gone." Robert screamed. Diana was hysterical, realizing she had gambled and lost their status, and Sarah sat there, finally understanding the true cost of their avarice. I looked directly at Robert. "You showed me your blueprints, son," I said quietly, my voice perfectly steady. "I merely showed you mine. I survived the heart attack you wished on me, and I used the 6 weeks you gave me to ensure you wouldn't survive the greed you couldn't hide." I walked out of the office, leaving them to the reality of their zero inheritance. The house was sold, the money was safe, and the vultures were grounded. I didn't lose my money to them. I used it to save my own life and, perhaps, teach the world that respect is earned, not inherited. Like this video if you believe a father's sharp mind is the ultimate deterrent against greedy children. Subscribe for more stories where the old man plays dead to win the war. Share your final thoughts on the kitchen floor plans in the comments section below. I'll see you all in the next story.